You may not realize it, but bananas are radioactive. Not only are bananas radioactive, but there is even an informal unit of measurement called the banana equivalent dose, which is a unit of measurement to measure the amount of ionizing radiation exposure that a person can absorb. Banana equivalent dose is just an informal unit of measurement, and there are some that argue that it's actually a little bit misleading. I'll explain that in a little bit. When you say that something is radioactive, what you mean is that it emits ionizing radiation. Not all radiation is ionizing. Only higher frequency or higher energy radiation is ionizing. As you can see from this chart, lower frequency or energy radiation, like radio waves, microwaves, and visible light, are examples of non-ionizing radiation. But higher frequency, higher energy radiation, like gamma rays, X-rays, and some ultraviolet rays, are ionizing radiation. When you say that radiation is ionizing, that means that it creates ions. An ion is created when an electron is added or removed from an atom, and ionizing radiation is radiation that is at a high enough energy to remove electrons from an atom. Ionizing radiation is generally considered to be more dangerous to your health than non-ionizing radiation. That stated, there is evidence that non-ionizing radiation also has health risks, but we know a lot more about the health effects of ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation damages the atoms within DNA molecules and can damage DNA molecules. Enough ionizing radiation will kill a cell. When a cell's DNA is damaged, but the cell is not killed, the DNA can be repaired. However, when errors build up over time in the DNA repair process, that can lead to cancer. Now, you might be wondering, why do they use ionizing radiation to actually treat cancer? The reason for that is when they use ionizing radiation to treat cancer, they are using the radiation specifically to kill cancerous cells. Now, of course, it is possible for the radiation to damage and kill non-cancerous cells, and that is always a risk to radiation treatment. They try to keep the damage to non-cancerous cells at a minimum, but it does happen. While bananas are radioactive, they aren't that radioactive. Most of the radioactivity in bananas comes from potassium. There are 3 isotopes of potassium found in bananas: potassium 39, potassium 40, and potassium 41. Of these, only potassium 40 is considered radioactive. Potassium 40 is a radioactive isotope because it undergoes radioactive decay. In fact, it's an unusual type of radioactive isotope that undergoes both types of beta decay. It emits mostly beta radiation, but it also emits some gamma radiation as well. When it comes to banana equivalent dosage, a banana equivalent dose is equal to 0.1 microsieverts. A sievert is a unit used to quantify the amount of ionizing radiation exposure the human body receives. Other humans are radioactive, and sleeping next to another human will expose you to about half of the ionizing radiation that eating one banana will expose you to. Living 50 miles from a coal power plant will expose you to about 3 times the ionizing radiation over a year that eating one banana will. A dental x-ray will expose you to about 50 times the ionizing radiation that eating one banana will. And an airplane flight from New York to Los Angeles will expose you to about 400 times the ionizing radiation of eating one banana. In order to get sick from radiation poisoning from bananas, you would have to eat 10 million bananas all at once, which is pretty much impossible. Your stomach would rupture. Eating 100 million bananas would be enough to kill you from a lethal dose of radiation poisoning within 2 weeks, and that's if you eat 100 million all at once. However, and this is a very big however, charts like this are very misleading. Charts like this have a tendency to be used by nuclear proponents, and from this chart, you might get the impression that living 50 miles from a nuclear power plant exposes you to less dangerous radiation than eating one banana a day every day for a year. But that is not true. And that's because the body maintains a homeostatic amount of potassium. So some of the potassium in your body is potassium 40, the radioactive isotope. That's unavoidable. But when you eat a lot of potassium, say from a banana, your body will expel an equivalent amount of potassium so that a certain level of potassium is maintained. So, in other words, the effects of eating bananas do not actually expose you to a cumulative amount of radiation. So, eating 365 bananas, one a day, every day for a year, exposes you to no more radiation than eating just one banana once a year. Another thing I want to point out is when it comes to things like nuclear power plants, the amount of radiation that you would receive from a nuclear power plant that is 50 miles away may not be that high, but the closer you get, the amount of dangerous radiation that you're exposed to goes up exponentially. Overall, things like getting medical or dental x-rays, living close by to a nuclear power plant, or flying on airplanes expose you to far more dangerous ionizing radiation than eating one banana a day would. This is a Bitmoji of me and my lovely girlfriend Lena holding a banana. This banana is likely more radioactive than the average banana because it's so much bigger than the average banana. Lena, I'm so happy you are in my life. Thanks very much to my producer, Lena, aka Lollipop, and associate producer, Jamie Joy. I have a new Patreon perk. If you would like to be credited as a producer on all my videos, you can for $50 or more a month. And if you'd like to be credited as an associate producer, you can for $5 or more per month. Check out my Patreon link in the description if you'd like to contribute. Thanks to everyone for supporting my channel. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon for notifications, and together we shall take over the world. You can also catch me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Snapchat at Zorkmid123.